There's a moment every man faces in silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of inner war. The silence that greets him after a breakup. The silence of watching his bank account hit zero. The silence of walking alone into uncertainty when the world turns its back. That silence either breaks a man or builds him. And what separates the broken from the unshakable is not a secret. It's daily decisions, not the loud, flashy ones, but the quiet, consistent choices a man makes when no one is watching, the kind of choices that seem small until they shape your destiny. Let me tell you something you already know. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care how hard your childhood was, how unfair your job is, or how badly she broke your heart. But you know who does care, the man you could become, because deep down you don't just want to survive this life, you want to conquer it. You want to be the kind of man who walks into a room and owns his presence, the kind of man who doesn't chase validation because he carries purpose in his eyes, the kind of man who is unshakable, not because life is easy, but because he's trained for the storm. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. That's what this video is about, not hype, not motivation that fades by tomorrow, but 4 daily decisions that will forge an inner core so solid the world won't be able to move you. These aren't complex habits from some self-help guru. They're timeless principles drawn from Stoic wisdom, modern reality, and the painful lessons of men who've walked through fire and came out harder, sharper, and wiser. I'm going to walk you through the decision that will control your mornings and with it, your mindset. The decision that will fortify your emotions, even when you feel weak. The decision that will give you power in your words and peace in your relationships. And the decision that will make your actions speak so loudly, you never have to beg for respect again. Each chapter in this video will be deep, real, and unapologetically honest. Because let's face it, no one's coming to save you. You are the rescue mission. And every day you delay making these decisions is a day life gets the upper hand. I want you to imagine this. You wake up tomorrow with total clarity. No chaos in your mind. You have a plan. You trust your own word. You look in the mirror and know, I can handle anything. You walk into situations that used to stress you out, cool and composed. People notice the change in you, not because you talk more, but because you need to talk less. Your presence speaks for itself. That's what being unshakable looks like. And that version of you, he's not far away. He's just on the other side of 4 daily decisions. So here's what I want you to do before we get started. Like this video if you're ready to become the strongest version of yourself. Subscribe if you believe in daily self-mastery and emotional discipline. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one habit you're working on every day to build your strength? We'll read every comment, and your story might inspire another man to level up. Now let's dive into Chapter 1. Decide to master your mornings. Most men lose the day before it even begins. They open their eyes and instantly hand over their attention to the world. They grab their phones, check messages, scroll through chaos. And without realizing it, they've already surrendered their power. If you want to become unshakable, your first decision of the day must be ownership, not distraction. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Marcus Aurelius. A man who controls his mornings controls his mind, and a man who controls his mind controls his destiny. This is not just about waking up early, it's about waking up with purpose. The moment your feet hit the floor, you should already know, I'm not reacting to life today, I'm commanding it. Here's what mastering your morning could look like. You wake up at a set time before the world starts pulling at you. You don't touch your phone for the first hour. You move your body, even if it's just stretching or walking. You sit in silence or journal. You reflect, set intentions, visualize strength. You read something that feeds your mind, not poisons it. This is not luxury, it's strategy. Your morning is the foundation of your mindset. And if that foundation is weak, everything else will eventually collapse. There was a man named Anthony, a 29-year-old electrician who struggled with anxiety, anger issues, and a total lack of direction. Every morning, he woke up 5 minutes before work, rushed to get ready, skipped breakfast, and showed up mentally foggy. He felt like life was smothering him. Until one day, his mentor gave him this advice: own your mornings or life will own you. So Anthony made a change. He started waking up just 1 hour earlier. He stopped sleeping next to his phone. He started with 10 minutes of quiet reflection, then 10 push-ups, then a glass of cold water. It wasn't perfect, but it was powerful. In 3 months, he wasn't just more productive, he was calmer, more confident, more in control. The small morning decisions created a massive ripple effect. And that's what you need to understand. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You need to dominate your mornings consistently, because when the first thing you conquer is yourself, the rest of the world gets easier to face. If you win the morning, you win the day. Tim Ferriss. Here's what morning mastery trains into you. Discipline. You do what needs to be done, not what feels good. Clarity. You begin the day with intentional direction, not confusion. Confidence. You show up ready, not chasing your tail. Presence. You respond to life with awareness, not anxiety. Even ancient warriors knew this. In samurai culture, warriors began their day with stillness, sword sharpening, and prayer. They believed that a man who could conquer the first hour of his day could walk into any battlefield with peace in his chest. And you? Your battlefield may not be with blades and armor, but it's still real. You battle doubt. You battle pressure. You battle temptation, laziness, stress, and fear. So here's your weapon. Structure your mornings like a warrior. Don't just get up, rise with command. Don't just survive the early hours, seize them with purpose. It's not about being perfect every morning. It's about becoming intentional, about what enters your mind and soul before the rest of the world gets a chance. Because when you start your day strong, grounded, and calm, you're not easily rattled. You become unshakable. Comment below. What's one morning habit that makes you feel powerful? It might be journaling. It might be a cold shower. Whatever it is, share it. Your morning discipline could be the blueprint another man needs. Chapter 2. Decide to train your emotional muscles. The strongest man in the room isn't the one who yells the loudest or lifts the heaviest. It's the man who stays calm when everything around him is falling apart. The man who doesn't crumble under criticism. The man who doesn't get pulled into drama, who doesn't beg for approval, and who doesn't let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. That strength? It's not natural. It's a result of daily emotional training. You must decide every single day to build your emotional muscles just like you would train your body. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Let's get real. Most men were never taught how to handle their emotions. They were either told to suppress everything or explode when overwhelmed. But neither of those responses build strength. Both are signs of emotional immaturity. Being unshakable isn't about becoming numb. It's about becoming anchored. It's about learning how to feel without folding, how to respond instead of react. Imagine your emotions like waves. You're not here to drown in them. You're here to surf them with skill. So how do you train your emotional muscles daily? Pause before reacting. When something triggers you, stop, breathe, ask. What is the wise response here? Reflect every night. Look back at your day and ask, where did I lose control today? What can I learn? Detach from external validation. Understand that your emotions don't need to be approved by anyone else. Practice emotional honesty. If you're hurt, admit it. If you're tired, rest. But never let weakness drive your choices. There was a man named Elijah. He worked in construction, hard hours, dirty hands, quiet pain. His wife left him after 7 years, no explanation, just a note on the kitchen counter. For 2 weeks, Elijah spiraled. He drank, he screamed, he punched walls. But one day, sitting in silence, he looked in the mirror and whispered, "I can't control what she did, but I can control who I become after it." That day, Elijah made a decision. He started journaling every morning. He started hitting the gym not for aesthetics, but for emotional clarity. He started watching his tone when speaking to people. He stopped letting pain speak for him. 3 years later, he's remarried, stable, peaceful, but more than anything, he's unshakable. Because now, even when life hurts him, he doesn't lose control of himself. He who angers you conquers you. Elizabeth Kenny. Understand this. Every emotional outburst costs you power. Every uncontrolled reaction proves to the world that you're not grounded, that you can be moved, shaken, broken. But when you train your inner world, your outer world begins to change. And don't think for a second that this is soft work. This is warrior discipline. This is battle-tested masculinity. This is the strength of a man who doesn't need to dominate others to feel in control, but instead masters himself. You want people to respect you? Then learn to respect your own emotional boundaries. You want your woman to feel safe with you. Then become the kind of man who doesn't explode when he's frustrated. You want your children to look up to you. Then let them see that strength is not rage, it's restraint. Here's the truth. Every time you remain calm in conflict, you grow stronger. Every time you choose silence over shouting, you gain power. Every time you sit with your feelings instead of running from them, you build endurance. And that endurance, it becomes the anchor in your storm. Ancient Stoics practiced this daily. Marcus Aurelius would journal his frustrations every morning, not to complain, but to process. He ruled the Roman Empire through wars, plagues, and betrayals, not with emotion, but with emotional control. If an emperor had to train his emotions daily, what excuse do we have? Remember this. Life will test you. People will disappoint you. You will feel pain, but that pain is either a prison or it's a platform for your strength. So train daily, check in with your heart, watch your responses, forgive what you can, confront what you must, and always ask yourself, am I reacting or am I responding like the man I want to be? Because when your emotions no longer control you, you become unshakable. Comment below. What's one way you handle your emotions like a strong man? Maybe it's breathing, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's walking away when things get heated. Drop it below. Your wisdom could help another man gain control today. Chapter 3. Decide to walk away from what weakens you. One of the most powerful decisions a man will ever make is to walk away. Walk away from what poisons his peace. Walk away from what drains his energy. Walk away from anything that pulls him further from the man he's trying to become. The first step to getting what you want is having the courage to get rid of what you don't. Zig Ziglar. Let this be clear. Walking away is not weakness, it's wisdom. Weakness is staying in environments that shrink you. Weakness is tolerating people who lie, manipulate, disrespect, or play with your mind. Weakness is knowing something is damaging you but choosing it anyway because it's familiar or easy. But a real man, a man who's growing in strength and self-respect, he doesn't beg for closure, he doesn't plead to be seen, he doesn't justify staying stuck in a situation that's killing his confidence. He walks with his head up, soul intact, and future in mind. There's a man named Daniel. He was in a 5-year relationship with a woman who kept threatening to leave him. 1 month, she'd say she loved him. Next month, she'd disappear for a weekend with no explanation. Daniel kept trying. He thought love meant enduring chaos. He told himself, this is just a rough patch. But in reality, he was addicted to the pain of being needed and rejected in cycles. Until one night, Sitting alone on his couch after another argument, he heard something in his spirit. "This is not love, this is self-destruction." And for the first time, he didn't call her. He didn't beg her to stay. He chose himself. He chose his peace. He walked away. That single act of courage changed everything. 6 months later, he was sleeping better, smiling more, going to the gym, building his business, reconnecting with family, because he had finally stopped pouring himself into someone who couldn't hold him. You must learn to let go, release the stress. You were never in control anyway. Buddha, this doesn't just apply to relationships, it applies to friendships that gossip and distract, to habits that give short-term pleasure but long-term pain, to jobs that kill your purpose while pretending to pay your bills. Sometimes, what's holding you back isn't lack of motivation, it's refusing to detach from what's draining you. You can't be unshakable if your life is filled with cracks. You can't feel free when you're surrounded by cages. So here's the truth. If it costs your peace, it's too expensive. If it kills your joy, it's not worth the sacrifice. If it keeps you from growing, it's keeping you from your destiny. This is where ancient wisdom comes in. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving." The process is a mutual one. Men learn as they teach. He wasn't just talking about positive vibes. He was warning us, the people you surround yourself with will either pull you toward discipline or distraction. So ask yourself daily, who am I giving my energy to? What habits am I letting live rent-free in my life? What environments feel heavy to my soul? Then be bold enough to act. Because here's the thing. When you walk away from what weakens you, you're not just protecting your future, you're respecting yourself. Self-respect is a muscle, and walking away is one of the ways you train it. It doesn't matter how long you've been attached. It doesn't matter if people don't understand. It doesn't matter if your emotions scream, "Stay." Your spirit will whisper, "Go." And you have to trust that whisper. You were not born to be constantly broken, used, manipulated, or drained. You were born to build, to lead, to rise, and to stand in strength, even if it means standing alone for a while. That alone season? It's where men are reforged. It's where clarity returns. It's where power is born in silence. Don't fear it. Embrace it. Because when you stop giving your time, your attention, and your love to what doesn't value it, you become a dangerous man, a focused man, an unshakable man. When you stop chasing the wrong things, you give the right things a chance to catch you. Lolly Daskell. Comment below. What's one thing you had to walk away from to protect your peace? Your story might inspire someone else to leave what's breaking them too. Chapter 4. Decide to build a code of honor. The most unshakable men don't live by moods, they live by codes. They don't wake up wondering who they are. They don't shift their behavior based on who's watching. They don't sell out their integrity just to gain approval or avoid discomfort. They live by principles, unbreakable, non-negotiable truths that govern how they think, speak, act, and lead. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Every strong man must decide, consciously and deliberately, to build a personal code of honor. This is your backbone, your standard, your internal compass when the world gets loud and confusing. Without a code, you'll drift. You'll say yes to things that break you. You'll betray your values to fit in. You'll confuse comfort with peace and pleasure with purpose. But with a code, you become rooted, anchored, unshakable. So, what goes into a man's code of honor? Here are some foundational pillars. I don't lie, even when the truth is uncomfortable. I protect what I love and walk away from what dishonors me. I keep my word, even when it hurts. I do hard things without complaint. I don't gossip, I don't manipulate, and I don't seek revenge. I rise above. I train my mind, body, and spirit daily, even when I don't feel like it. I leave every space better than I found it. I lead with calm, I listen with humility, and I speak with intention. When you build your life around these kinds of principles, you don't need applause to feel proud, you don't need drama to feel alive, and you don't need external permission to move forward. You live from the inside out. A man named Isaiah was raised without a father. He watched his mother work 3 jobs. He saw his uncles cheat, lie, and destroy their marriages. By the time he turned 18, he promised himself, "I'll be different." And he meant it. He got a journal and wrote down everything he believed a strong man should be. Not what society said, not what his past showed him, but what his future demanded. That became his code. 10 years later, he leads a team of 60 employees. He's married with 2 kids. He's known not for being flashy, but for being firm, fair, and full of integrity. What changed his life? Not luck, not talent, not even opportunity. A decision to live by a code and never break it for anything. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Abraham Lincoln. Every man watching this must understand. There will be moments in your life when you'll be tempted to break your code. A woman might try to seduce you into betrayal. A job might ask you to lie to get ahead. Your pride might tell you to react instead of respond. Your anger might demand revenge, not justice. But that's where your code is tested. Anyone can claim honor when life is easy, but a real man, he proves his integrity under pressure. A man with no code is a leaf in the wind, but a man with a code is a mountain in the storm. You want to be respected by other men. Live a life that doesn't need to be explained. Let your actions speak. Let your consistency preach. Because when you operate by a code, you stop apologizing for your standards. You attract quality people who share your values. You repel chaos, dishonor, and small-mindedness. You become a lighthouse, not just for yourself, but for others who are lost. Even in ancient times, men knew this. Spartans raised their boys on one guiding law, with your shield or on it. This meant you return home victorious or you die with honor. Cowardice wasn't even an option. Roman Stoics trained leaders to never compromise their principles because they knew that the fall of any great man starts with one small betrayal of self. So build your own code, not based on trends, not based on feelings, not based on what's easy, but based on what is true, right, and eternal. Write it down, memorize it, live it, and when you fail, which we all do, don't drown in shame. Get back up, recommit, refocus, because a real man doesn't need to be perfect. He just needs to be principled. Comment below, what's one rule in your personal code of honor you live by daily? Drop it in the comments. Your answer might light a fire in someone else today.